liquidating our FTT is just post-exit risk management. Learning from Luna, we gave our support before, but we won't pretend to make love after the divorce. We are not against anyone, but we won't support people who lobby against other industry players behind their backs. Woo! That one's pretty brutal. He threw FTX as the likes of Luna in terms of risk management, and then he said he had to throw in the we don't fuck with people who lobby against our industry. Whew. Brutal stuff. Brutal stuff right there. So clearly at this point, then the guns are out. That cock 'em and load 'em, boys. The guns are out. We're going now. War has begun. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Bread podcast, and we've got some hot and juicy drama to talk about today. Of course, I did not plan this. Last week I talked about, mostly the podcast was spent on the debate between Sam Bankman-Fried and Eric Voorhees over crypto regulation, and this week Sam is back in drama again, okay? We got him and CZ, the founder and CEO of Binance, going at it on Twitter. And, well, in this case, it's a little less direct. They didn't have like a straight conflict, but it's lots of subtweeting versus subtweeting and rumors of FTX insolvency. So very interesting. So let's get into it. Let's start out with kind of how this all started in the first place. Let me pull up real quick the first article here. So this all started, if you're not aware of the drama that's going on, I will catch you up. On November 2nd, CoinDesk released an article talking about how Alameda, which is Sam, well, okay, technically Sam is the founder of Alameda, but he is no longer running Alameda. Currently, Caroline, I actually forget her last name because we just refer to her as Caroline, but you guys know who I'm talking about if you're on crypto Twitter. And we'll get into her tweets in a moment. Caroline Caroline took over as CEO of Alameda a couple months ago. So anyways, but obviously Sam's the founder. He's still very much involved. And then obviously he is the founder and CEO of FTX. So this report from CoinDesk came out a few days ago, and it basically said that Alameda has some questionable books, in the sense that they have it tallied 14.6 billion of assets, but I believe they were borrowing roughly $8 billion against it. And now the problem is that a bunch of their assets on hand are illiquid locked tokens, like they talk about down here: Serum, Maps, Oxy, FIDA. These are illiquid coins that have been, frankly, like if we pull up the charts for some of these, like I'll pull up Oxy is one a lot of people have been pointing out. Well, if we zoom out to the year here, you can see that this chart is quite frankly just down only. It was 235 November last year and is currently trading at 4 cents. 4 cents from $2.35. So that's the state of things. But anyways, the point is that they were borrowing money against some of these illiquid assets, supposedly. And we'll get into the supposedly part. And so these rumors all started swirling. And a couple days ago, people started saying, "Oh, is Alameda in trouble?" Very similar. Obviously, we had 3AC collapse. We've had Celsius collapse. We've had a bunch of collapses this year. So at this point, people are pretty open to the idea that we could have another collapse. Now, of course, Alameda is the big daddy of them all. They are the largest crypto hedge fund in the world. So them going down would be quite the event, to be fair. And then today, so I'm recording this on Sunday evening. Lots of stuff it's coming out constantly. So if I miss a little bit, I apologize. This will be up tomorrow on Monday. But we're going to start with the tweet that kicked off all the drama this morning from Mr. CZ himself. He said that as a part of Binance's exit from FTX equity last year. So for those who don't know, obviously Binance is the older exchange. They are also the largest in the world. FTX, I believe, is the third largest in the world behind Coinbase, but they're pretty close. But anyways, so it's basically two of the top dogs. FTX initially raised money when they started in they started 17 or 16, I forget. 17 or 16 they started, and one of the people they raised money from was from Binance. This was way before they were rivals, and apparently last year Binance decided to exit from that equity position. Obviously, it's up a lot. I think FTX's last private round was like 18 billion, if I'm not mistaken. So good investment there. But anyways, they started exiting. And what CZ said is that obviously they exited last year. And he says Binance received roughly 2.1 billion USD equivalent in cash, BUSD, which is Binance's stablecoin, and FTT, which is FTX token. Due to recent revelations that have come to light, we have decided to liquidate any remaining FTT on our books. And then he goes on to say that we will try to do so in a way that minimizes market impact and blah, blah, blah. Binance always encourages collaboration between industry players regarding any speculation as to whether this is a move against a competitor. It's not. Our industry is in its nascency. And every time a project publicly fails, it hurts every user and every platform. We typically hold tokens for the long term, and we have held onto this token for this long. We stay transparent with our actions. Okay, let's be real. That's a load of horse crap. Who the hell announces that they have a ton of a token and that we're going to be selling it? Nobody, unless you're trying to purposely tank that token. Are they actually rivals is like a question that people were asking. I say yes, because I actually tweeted, hold on, live pulling up my own tweet. I had a tweet this morning that showed that a few people missed. Hold on, I got to scroll through my replies. Give me 1 second. Here we go. This is a tweet from Sisyphus. Do we think the CZ SBF beef is more like a WWE beef, where they're actually fine with each other, or is it genuine animosity? And, well, I replied saying genuine animosity, quote tweeting this from October 29th, last week, when all the regulation controversy was going around. SBF replied to a tweet saying, "Been an absolute pleasure watching CZ have the extremely difficult but transformative debates on Twitter this past week to ensure the crypto industry moves forward in the best possible way." And SBF very, very pettily, is that a word? Pettily, said, excited to see him repping the industry in DC going forward. He is allowed to go to DC, right? Oof. The shade. Referencing that CZ may or may not be running an illegal operation, and if he were to arrive on U.S. soil, there may be federal authorities waiting for him. Of course, this is all speculation, but the fact that Sam would tweet that probably tells you that they're not on the best of terms, I would say. And so we move on. So that was the initial. This is. We're just getting into it, folks. We're just getting into it, okay? That was the start of it. That was CZ's first response, and then Caroline, the head of. See, I don't even know her last name because she didn't have it on Twitter. How am I supposed to know it? Okay, at Caroline Capital. I don't know. Someone look it up. I'm not going to look it up. Who cares? Caroline from Alameda. By the way, if you didn't know this, drama. I'm going to say this right now. Drama's fun, okay? Anybody who says, hey, I'm going to say this. To all my ladies out there, to all my ladies in the house, all right? The like 5% of you, 4% of you, according to the analytics for the podcast and for the YouTube channel. There are 4% of you out there. We appreciate you, okay? Let me tell you a little secret about guys. Guys say that they don't like drama. But that's not true. Guys love drama. They just don't like female drama, right? They don't care about what actress broke up with who, or like what Becky said to Charlotte yesterday. Okay, guys do not care about that. But if you got some juicy drama about something that's relevant to them, business or like sports. I mean, business and sports drama is really like, that's basically all of male entertainment. I mean, just look at like ESPN or like any of these sports talk shows. It's all drama, right? It's all like, yeah, because this guy, he requested a trade. But then the team said that if you don't play, we're not going to pay you your salary. And they're calling his bluff. And he said, fine, then I won't play. Calling their bluff. And now we don't know what's going to happen next. And then Stephen A. Smith will talk about how it's blasphemous. It's all drama. Okay, men love drama. All right, that's for the ladies out there, just so you know. So next time your man says, I don't care about drama, you're such a drama queen, just hit him with you would care about drama if it was about Tom Brady. Ooh, how many guys were talking about Tom Brady's wife in the last week? Dudes love drama. Okay, all right. Let's just put that out there. We're going to keep going. That was a tangent. Didn't mean to get into that. We're going to keep going. Caroline replied, adding CZ directly, at CZ. If you're looking to minimize the impact of your FTT sales, Alameda will happily buy it from you all today. Buy it all from you today at $22. $22. Well, folks, it is trading at $22 currently at the time of recording, just so you know. Some people read this as desperate. Some people read this as she's a female, but putting her metaphorical schlong on the table and saying, come get it. Okay, so interpret this as you will. But that was the response. So let's go to the timeline here. So this was at 8:47 a.m. I'm going in my time zone, Mountain Time. So, you figure it out. This was this morning in the U.S. 16 minutes later, Caroline replied with this. Then, a few hours passed by. Now CT is going crazy. All right? Everyone's going back and forth. Drama. CZ comes back and says, liquidating our FTT is just post-exit risk management. Learning from Luna, we gave our support before, but we won't pretend to make love after the divorce. We are not against anyone, but we won't support people who lobby against other industry players behind their backs. Woo! That one's pretty brutal. He threw FTX as the likes of Luna in terms of risk management, and then he had to throw in the we don't fuck with people who lobby against our industry. Whew. Brutal stuff right there. So clearly at this point, then the guns are out. That cock 'em and load 'em, boys. The guns are out. We're going now. War has begun. All right. And then SBF came out and very cordially, I think he wanted to de-escalate the situation a bit. And this is an ongoing situation, so there could be very well more stuff coming out after this podcast. But we gotta get something out there. And he kind of did the very politically correct. A huge thank you to everyone who has supported us and blah blah blah. And he said a bunch of rumors have been circulating. FTX keeps audited financials, and though it slows us down sometimes on product, we are highly regulated. Blah, 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 basically saying we're fine. There were rumors of like FTX not allowing withdrawals. That wasn't the case. It was just that frankly, a lot of people started panicking because they said, oh my God, is FTX insolvent? So then people start pulling their money out of FTX. And, obviously that congests the network. And on the ERC20 tokens, the ETH tokens, the withdrawals were congested. It was not congested for like other networks, but ETH, because obviously ETH, itself has its own limitations as far as how many transactions can be processed. It was a little slower, but, he says everything's okay, blah, blah, blah. As always, thank you to our supporters, yada, 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 yada. And then Byzantine General replied to him saying, why did Caroline say you guys are willing to buy CZ's entire bag at 22? I'm pretty sure literally all of this blows over immediately if there's a good answer to that question. And SBF replied, I mean, that's up to her to answer, but they said they were worried about impact which this would solve for them. And this is just quicker and easier. But if they want to twop sell over the next few months, that's cool too. Here's the thing. Now that you're caught up on the drama, I think that, number one, let's just get this out of the way. FTX and Alameda are just fine. They're non-solvent. I'm gonna stake my reputation on that one. I will die on that hill. I was fully, you can go back in this podcast talking about how Luna was going to collapse. I was telling people prior to Celsius shutting off withdrawals to get their money out of Celsius. So I'm not someone who's like saying, oh, none of these things can happen. No, I actively said bad things can happen. But this is a guy in Sam who was just like a few months ago offering like 6 billion liquid cash to get into the Twitter deal with Elon. I don't know if a lot of you guys saw that. That came out in the leaked text. He was offering like billions in cash, okay? A guy with that type of liquid cash is going to be just fine in covering these things. And then on top of that, the reality is that there's a lot of players in this space. And if Alameda did need a little bit of help, even if CZ wants to go after him, and listen, CZ and Binance, they're big dogs. They got a lot of money. But Alameda and FTX are too. And there's a lot of other people adjacent to Alameda and FTX where if something were to go bad, it would hurt everybody massively. I mean, just think about it. Like if FTX were to go under, I mean, give me a break. That would, I mean, you thought 3AC liquidation candle was bad. Forget buying Bitcoin at 14K. We'll get a fucking wick down to 5K if FTX goes under. I'll say that right now. So I don't think that's going to happen. And I think that there's other people who would step in. Could be even Jump. Could be who's obviously, backed by Citadel. It could be whoever, right? There's tons of other players who would, I'm sure, float Alameda and FTX a little bit of money if they needed to, because it would just wreck them otherwise. But I don't even think that's going to be necessary. So yeah, this is all probably overblown. Like I said, we love some drama. Now, is it a good look or a good thing that two of the biggest names in the space are going at it on Twitter like this? Probably not. No. Can you imagine if like the CEO of like can you imagine if like Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan and like whoever the CEO of like Bank of America is, it's like started going at it on Twitter? That would be a little strange. But this is crypto, it's fun. It's all fun and games. I think we're fine. Everything will be okay. This is just the drama of the day, and this will all brush over. But it's very interesting. And, it's funny because earlier, let's take a look at Sam's likes live here. Let's test this out, because earlier he was liking, okay, we've got a rabbit eating something, a carrot. He was liking tweets that were basically calling people idiots for fudding FTX. Let's see, he's liking lots of tweets in support. All right. He may have stopped doing that because he did get called out on it. Caroline liquidating the low IQ FTX fudders with one tweet. Balance is restored. Liked by Sam. I think he unliked. I think he started unliking these tweets. So that's funny. That's petty. Again, it's always a good time on crypto Twitter. Okay, there's never a dull moment. Doesn't matter, bull or bear. Never a dull moment on crypto Twitter. So that was the drama of the day. And we'll see how this resolves. I would assume this resolves by just fizzling out and not a whole lot happening, and everybody just going back to their regular scheduled programming of solvency and nothing being really much of an issue. So let's move on from this. That was fun, but let's talk about some coins. Let's talk about what happened this week outside of the drama. So first up, we had Solana Breakpoint this week, and there was a bunch of Solana stuff that came out. So let's cover that all real quick. First of all, they had the Google Cloud announcement that pumped Solana from like $31 to $37. That's been fully retraced already, by the way, just in case you were wondering. So that's good. But Google Cloud announced, by the way, from their main Twitter account. So that makes me wonder. A little interesting, because normally this type of thing, like partnerships, as we know in crypto, are mostly BS and don't matter at all. But they did tweet it from the main account, which is interesting. So I wouldn't say it's nothing. But basically, they put out this tweet saying that you will be able to do a few things. So, number one, Google Cloud is running a block-producing Solana validator to participate in and validate the network, so they can run their own validator. And then also, more importantly, in my opinion, is that Google Cloud is working with Solana to bring blockchain node engine to Solana chain next year, so it will be easy for anyone to launch a dedicated Solana node in the cloud. So that one's the most relevant. And then you also had at the bottom, you had last but not least, a reminder that Google Cloud will soon be accepting crypto payments via Coinbase Commerce. So you'll have more optionality of payments with Google Cloud services. So they will accept crypto payments soon too. So the most interesting thing about this is mostly not that big of a deal, but I think the ability to spin up your own node actually is interesting. And my little tinfoil hat theory on this is that obviously Solana has their Solana phone coming soon, and that is an Android phone, which is obviously Google. And my theory with that is that most devs who are building on Solana, you have to run your own nodes. It makes life tremendously easier, right? And any serious company or people developing on Solana are going to want to run their own nodes. And so similar to in Web 2, how basically every startup just starts spinning up AWS, I think that what Google is going here is that when people have the Solana phone and start building apps for Solana, that they can just quickly spin up a node on Google Cloud without having to have their own box, without having to, it's kind of, it's a process to set up your own node yourself. Whereas if you can just go to a website, do a few clicks, I'm sure pay some money, and you're good to go. So that's interesting to me. I wouldn't give this too much of a huge deal. A lot of people said it was a nothing burger. I wouldn't say it's a nothing burger, but I think that part specifically was relevant. On top of that, I pulled up an Ansem tweet real quick here because he's there at a bunch of crypto people are there. He kind of gave his list of things that he was excited about. So you have Jump Crypto with FireDancer. FireDancer is this it says, I'm reading from Jump's site. We are building a new validator client for Solana in order to create a better network for everyone and for always. So it's a new validator client, basically. Then you also have Zeta Markets. Zeta Markets is actually an interesting product. I'm interested in exploring it a bit. I think that they have the potential to capture a lot of market share on Solana. I think Solana DeFi is going to have its moment at some point. It had it a little bit in 2021, but nothing crazy. I think that we will see Solana DeFi take off at some point. It's just a matter of time. And I think if that happens, products like Zeta Markets are really going to have a potentially a pump. Not saying they don't even have a token yet, but if they did have a token, go and buy Zeta token or anything like that. But it's a project that I would keep in mind that I don't think a lot of people on the traditional Ethereum DeFi side are paying much attention to. On top of that, you have a few other things, but the main thing being like the Solana phone, and they're trying to build a user-friendly ecosystem. I think Solana gets a ton of crap for a lot of reasons, some justified, some kind of maybe unjustified. But I think that Solana, the thing I respect about them is they have this consistent vision of trying to onboard a lot of people, and they do their own thing. The thing in crypto is you have tons of copycats everywhere, and everyone is trying to compete doing the same thing. And the thing I respect about Solana is that they're very focused on their lane. Now, whether they'll be successful or not, time will tell. But it's at least in my opinion, I think that they have a strong user focus more so than a lot of other chains who are more focused on bringing in, whales into their DeFi ecosystems or going for quick money cash grabs, but not so much long-term user growth, which is really what we need in crypto more than anything. We just need long-term user growth. The money will come if we have that. And so I think Solana's focus on that is important, and it's nice to me that they're committed to that. Okay, let's talk coins that I am watching. So first of all, I gotta collect my clout on Aura here. Okay, Aura Finance, AURA, is something I have been shilling relentlessly for like, I don't know, 2 months now, and I have the receipts, folks. I tweeted this on October 6th, no, October 12th. My bad, October 12th. Aura is in deep value territory right now. Currently, you can earn about 180 per token in bribes, similar to a dividend, and you can buy the tokens for 171 each. May go lower, but at some point, when the earnings from owning the token are higher than the price, a floor will be set. And nobody cared. Nobody paid attention. You got 3 likes. That's it. 3 likes, and one of them is from Maki himself. Of course, he's the founder. He's gonna like it. All right. Nobody liked this tweet. Given the alpha, and yesterday, if we pull up the old Aura chart here, it went up to like 330 or something. So basically, you would have doubled your money in less than a month if you had bought Aura when I said it, because Aura is really interesting, right? Let me get into Aura for a second. Aura, and I do want to buy more. Now, unfortunately, I'll be honest, I'm coping a little bit because, as you can see, this chart is just up only. And I was really hoping to buy more, at least, like, honestly, I was hoping when it went like above, like, because it went, to 240 or so, I was hoping to get it below like 2 again. And that, I don't know if it's like, that's going to happen. Maybe it will. But I've been wanting to buy more Aura, because the thing with Aura is that it generates revenue for you pretty consistently in a couple ways. Let me pull up Aura's site real quick. Okay, so what is Aura? So Aura is basically a convex for balancer, right? In the way that convex was accumulating a bunch of curve during the curve wars last year and collecting bribes from that as revenue for the token holders, Aura is doing the same with balancer, which is an underrated DEX, in my opinion. And so right now, Aura is trading at about 290. So it had a pullback from yesterday's blow off at like 330. And currently, there's a few different ways that you can earn money with Aura. The 2 main ways that I have been doing it, number one, is quite simply with single-sided staking. And this is the best right now at the current prices. And I'll explain why in a second. But you can buy Aura and then go over to Balancer and single-side stake in Balancer's liquidity pools, unlike a Uniswap, for example, where if you wanted to LP in, say, ETH USD, you would need to, USDC, I should say, you would need both Ethereum and USDC and put them together and then LP with it. Balancer lets you just put one if you want to. So you don't need to own like USDC or ETH. You can just deposit your Balancer, right? So that's very nice. And so right now that is paying on Balancer. It kind of fluctuates, but it's paying like over 50%, I think, at the current moment. So that's pretty good. The other method that at the time of the original tweet, and why I said there would be a floor in the price of Aura, is that they have a thing called Hidden Hand. If you don't know what Hidden Hand is Redacted Cartel's bribe marketplace. Okay, if you guys remember Butterfly Token, Redacted Cartel, this is something that I think we talked about on the podcast, like, I don't even know. I mean, it's been months, maybe like 6 months ago. And this was something that they were working on for a long time. And then obviously in the bear market, token crashed and everybody forgot about them. But they still delivered on what they were talking about. And I'm not bullish on Redacted here, on Butterfly Token. I wouldn't buy it here. Not very interested. But they have a bribe marketplace up now. And this bribe marketplace is called Hidden Hand. And so I got to pull it up here. And so they work with a few different protocols: Aura, Balancer, Frax, Ribbon, Tokamak, a few different protocols. So anyways, how does this work? Well, basically, when you lock your Aura, you have to lock it for about 16 weeks. I think it's 16 weeks in a few days. You get VL Aura. And what that means is vote locked Aura, which gives you the right to vote on where Aura basically points the liquidity for Balancer, right? Again, similar to Convex and Curve. And all of these different protocols want liquidity. And so they will come to this hidden hand marketplace and bid on bribes to point the liquidity towards them. And so you can see here, this is the previous round of bribes, and it averaged out to about 7 cents a token. And if you multiply 7 cents a token, this happens, sorry, back up for 1 second, it happens bi-weekly. And so every other week, so there's 52 weeks in a year, so I mean 26 times you get paid out. If you multiply 07 times 107 times 26, that comes out to $1.82 a token, and that's basically what I was saying in the original tweet. This fluctuates a little bit, and it's not super consistent yet, so that's why I'm still kind of watching to see how it goes, because I don't know if the bribes will stay as high. Maybe people will not be as attracted to getting liquidity depending on market conditions, and there's different factors. So I don't want to say that it's like consistent. This has only been running for like a month or month and a half now. But if it were to stay at roughly these levels, they're basically paying you $1.80 just to own the token per token. And at the time, the price of the token was $1.70. So that if it was a dividend like a stock, they'd be paying you over 100% on an annual basis at that price. And so that's why it was kind of like a no-brainer to buy for me, and that's why I started buying it. Frankly, I should have bought more. I just, Hidden Hand had just launched, and so I was kind of still messing with it. And I still am. I don't have all my money locked in it. I have about half in that, and then half just in the liquidity pool. But I think Aura is one that I'm really happy accumulating long term. So far, the thesis has proven correct. But frankly, I mean, this token, even in its current state, I think it's got a lot of room to go up. I think it could easily be a $10 plus token, maybe even a $20 plus token in a bull run, no problem. So it's really just a game of, can you accumulate and wait? Because the thing is that if bribes are already paying you like $1.80 a token now in a bear market, right? When revenues for all of these DeFi protocols, if you look across the board, are way down, then what do you think those bribes will be in a bull market, right? I could easily see the bribes for this token being like, who knows? It could be $3, $4, $5 a token just in bribes that you can collect as a dividend. And the nice thing with that is you're getting income, right? When you're buying Aura, you're essentially buying income. It's not just some speculative token. So that's why I had a whole thesis around it. And the reason why I want to start buying more tokens like this that have a real fundamental basis behind them, right? Because my trading strategy is I like a little bit of barbell theory, right? I like to go with things that are, in my opinion, lower risk in terms of like they are either a blue chip like an ETH, right? Just buying ETH at good prices for the long term, or something that's generating consistent revenue and that I can watch. And if I think that the revenue isn't going to be sustainable, then I can sell and get out. But with Aura, I think it is something where the revenue is going to be reasonably sustainable. And so I want to buy those. And then my other side of the barbell is, just trading whatever shit coins and meme coins and whatever high risk stuff. So that's been my strategy recently, and so I'm happy to accumulate more Aura. In fact, I would really like it to go down more because I just do not have enough at all. I would like to increase my bag a lot, so I probably shouldn't be talking about it. But that's the service I do to you, do for you, my daily bread listeners. So anyways, that's my thoughts on Aura. I would love to know if any of you guys have played Aura at all, and what you guys think about it. But it's been a winner, and I think it will continue to be. Again, I think it just had a huge move and will probably pull back a little more here. But if it goes like below 250 again, I'm definitely going to scoop some up for sure. Okay, other tokens I am looking at the moment. So this is my watch list. Let me just pull it up. Let's go by volume here, actually. Okay, Canto. Canto is one that I have been in and out of quite a bit, trading it. I think that, frankly, it's just like undervalued for being like a decent L1 on Cosmos and the TVL that it has. I think that it has, let me pull up the TVL. Okay, I've got it here. So it's got $160 million in TVL, and you can see that it's pretty consistently growing here. And that's with 5 dApps. These guys have barely launched anything on their chain so far. I definitely think they'll be launching more stuff. Now, this is super risky, speculative coin. I'm not telling you to buy it. I currently don't actually own any. I sold on this last rip to like 33, and then I didn't buy the dip. I was going to, and I didn't because the rest of the market was a little iffy, so I didn't. So I missed this last leg up. But now it whipped to what, 36? Yeah. And now we're back to 31. I think that this may be a decent buy area. I don't own any yet, so I haven't re-entered. But I think that this is one that will eventually at some point be certainly above 50 to 60 cents, I think. Now, whether it'll get to $1 or whatever is kind of the meme number. But I think like a 2x from here is reasonable. And again, depending on the dApps that go over there, I think that we are very likely to see some growth in that area. Synapse is also supposed to launch their bridge for Canto to make it way easier to bridge, and they haven't done it yet, even though they announced it like twice, and they still haven't done it. So Synapse, for the love of all that is holy, please add Canto to the bridge. It has a ton of volume. That's the thing. Like Canto consistently, like it has 3 million daily volume on chain, which you can look at like other tokens, like FracShares has like 1 million on chain, or like Magic had a ton today at 2.5 million. It has consistently, even Synapse itself, 500,000 in volume, right? It has a lot of volume. There's a lot of money to be made in fees there. Okay, Synapse. So let's get to it, please. Thank you. Okay, a few other coins to get into. World Cup Inu. Look at this bad boy. World Cup is coming up. It starts on November 20th or 21st. Obviously, the World Cup is the biggest sporting event in the world, so there's quite a bit that will likely happen at that point, and there's a few different coins that people are playing based on the World Cup. The two big ones are Chiliz and Algorand. Algorand is working with FIFA on their like NFTs and some other stuff. So Algorand is working directly with FIFA on things and has gotten a reasonable pump because of this. It's pulled back a little today, but it's been pumping a little bit on that narrative. And then Chiliz is the one that people have been talking a lot about, CHZ being the ticker. And you can see that Chiliz in the last couple of weeks has gone up quite a bit. Now, and Chiliz does fan tokens for different sports teams. So these are kind of crowded trades. And then there's World Cup Inu, which is like a pure meme coin. They paid Ronaldinho, who is a famous retired Brazilian soccer player, to make a tweet about them. And I think they are going to pay other famous retired soccer players who need money to tweet about it more as we go into it. But the Chiliz and Algorand are the two kind of obvious plays that a lot of people are doing. The one that is a little under the radar, and this is the alpha that I'm looking at, is CRO, C-R-O, which is Crypto.com's token. And let me tell you why I'm paying attention to this. Because if we do a little search here, FIFA, you can see I did a little search before. I think it was Crypto World Cup. Yeah, I thought it was canceled for a second. It's not true. They had a partnership with UEFA Champions League, a different thing, and that was canceled. But this is still going. And so you can see here, this is FIFA.com. The thing is, this was announced in March, so a lot of people don't know this. But Crypto.com unveiled as FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 official sponsor. So Crypto.com will be having lots of ads all over the World Cup, especially so the way FIFA does their advertising is a little unique because it's such a global event that they do different advertising to different markets, right? It's not just like the same, like you don't see the same commercials as someone in another country does. And from what I read, Crypto.com is heavily hitting the US, heavily hitting India, I believe, and I think Europe a little bit too, but I think not as much. So US and India seem to be they're two big markets that they were going after, which is interesting. So anyways, that's one that people aren't necessarily talking about, and I think the chart looks decent. I think that it needs to pull back a little bit, and if we do get a pullback to, I think I was looking at like 11 to 12 cents area, or sorry, not 11 to 12 cents, like 11 and a half or so. Yeah. That it may be an interesting buy, which we're actually, as I record this, getting there, as things pull back here on Sunday evening. So that's one that is going a little under the radar. Now, the World Cup tokens, trade with your own caution, because this is definitely a crowded trade. Lots of people have been trying to hit on this. I don't know how much outside of crypto Twitter people are really paying attention to like World Cup trades. Now, it may be a thing that happens kind of last minute, but this is a competitive trade, so I'd be a little careful. But I'm thinking about playing Crow, as my play for this. And I think Chile is probably the easy one too. But again, very crowded trade, so trade at your own risk on that one. A couple more coins I continue to watch. One is Premia, Premia is the ticker. It is an options protocol. There's a couple unique things about them. They are an American-style options protocol. What that means is that there's European and American-style options. In European-style options, when you open the options contract, you cannot sell it until the contract closes. Basically, there's no market for it in the meantime. Right, it's just you open a contract. Say you buy ETH, $1,800 calls for December, something like that. Right, it either closes in profit or it doesn't, and that's it. With American style options, which is the ones people are more familiar with on like a Robinhood and all these options trading platforms, it's that you can trade them in and out at any time, right, before the expiration date. And so Premia has that. A competitor of theirs, a big one, would be Dopex. Dopex is one of the larger options trading platforms that is like of the tier twos, I would call. Obviously, you have like DYDX, Deribit, a few other big ones. And then you have like the tier twos that are all competing and trying to come up. The reason I like Premia is that it's also on Arbitrum just like Dopex. And it actually has more volume than Dopex already in terms of trading volume and options contracts. And it's 1/6 roughly the market cap of Dopex. So I think that Premia is going to be probably a $100 million token at some point, and it's currently trading at an $11 million market cap. I just think that in a bull market, this thing can pump. I don't see any reason why. I mean, Dopex got to, I think I don't even remember. I think it was like 600 million or something like that market cap at the top of the bull market last time. And, even still, it's still at like a 60 mil market cap, right? And Premia is trading at 11 million and it has more volume. I think the risk reward on Premia is good. Every time it goes below like $1, I buy more. So like I bought some at like 70, 80 cents. It's at like $1.05 right now. So if it goes below $1 again, I'm gonna buy more. This is a long-term like accumulation play for me, not necessarily a trade, but it's one to keep your eye on. They also have like a token burn coming at some point. They've discussed for a while reducing their supply. Their inflation is pretty limited. I think it's like 2% a year or something. So it's very, very low. So I'm not super worried about the inflation side, just more that they're going to be able to really capture the value from their protocol, which I think they will. They have a really smart team. V Cozy on Twitter, if you guys know who that is, he is one of the team members. I really think the guy is smart. I really think the team knows what they're doing. They put out these like crazy research papers too that are really in depth. So I think they're an under the radar project, and at 11 mil market cap, that's something that like I'm willing to take a flyer on for the longer term, but it is risky. And the final one that I will talk about is Fluid Finance, ticker Fluid, FLUID. This one has really gone under the radar. It's also an Arbitrum token. One of the reasons I'm kind of into Arbitrum tokens right now is that it's no secret that they're going to launch a token at some point, and a lot of people think it's going to happen soon, and they're going to be giving airdrops and also doing incentive programs. By the way, speaking of airdrops, I have an airdrop video coming out next week, or I'm sorry, not next week, in the next few days. So be tuned for that, because I'm going to go over all the airdrops that are coming up that you can make money on. I'm going to tell you guys right now, there are, I don't want to say tens of thousands of dollars, because I think that's a little, like, I can't promise that, but certainly multiple thousands of dollars to be made from airdrops, if not potentially in the tens in the next, like, I would say, couple months. There's a lot of stuff happening, and if you're on the ball with it and kind of pay attention, you can make a lot of money from airdrops right now. Like we just saw the Aptos one that just happened was a few thousand. Obviously, you had Optimistic a couple months ago that was also a few thousand. I'm forgetting all of them off the top of my head, but there's been like a lot recently, and there's more coming. So pay attention. I'm gonna have a video on that, so be sure to watch that when it comes out. Anyways, Fluid, Arbitrum is one of them, obviously. And Fluid is a token that uses Arbitrum. And what is Fluid? Fluid is basically like a fintech app that really connects fiat and crypto pretty well. So they call it, like, the reason it's called Fluid Finance is that you essentially have a bank account that can use both stable coins and regular money. And so you can do payments, you can all the stuff that you could do with a normal bank account. But you can also buy digital assets. You can use like the Ethereum network and stuff like that, and Arbitrum on Fluid Finance. So that's really cool without like having to like convert your money and all that. It just does it all seamlessly for you. I think that's really sick. That's like what you want to see as far as crypto going forward. I used to have like my slogan be, we must abstract our way to the future. And by abstract, I mean like abstract the layers of user knowledge, right? When you use a bank account now and you transfer money, you have no idea how it works in the back end. You just know that you click the button and it works, right? And that's where we want to get to with crypto. The reason Fluid's really interesting is that it's a $7 million market cap token on Arbitrum. I think we are going to see RB season, as people are calling it, happen, and when the airdrop comes. And the other thing is the incentive programs. Arbitrum is likely going to do something similar to Optimism in terms of incentive programs for all of these different projects on their chain, where they're going to literally just like give Arbitrum tokens to all of them. And I think that you'll see a lot of these tokens literally, I don't want to say anything like outlandish, but like, I mean, 3, 4, 5x's on a lot of these low caps just because of the incentives they're going to get. And I think Fluid is like a perfect candidate, because this is, if you're Arbitrum, you want something like this built. This is a legit team. This is a legit product that works. They're trying to expand their market, and they're using your protocol as their back end, right? That's exactly what you want. And at a 7 mil market cap, I think it's a pretty good deal. I've been in since it was like, I have a couple of lines around here. I think I bought, like 50 cents, and I forget where. I was down a little bit on it, but I was buying around the 50, 60 cent range mostly. It's at 73 now. It went all as high as like 85, and now it's pulled back a little to 73. I think it's a good buy. I think anything like sub 10 mil on this thing is a good buy for the long term. Again, this is like a mix of like real team, real product, and Arbitrum season happening, kind of mixture play. And I think the risk reward at a 7 mil market cap is pretty reasonable. Obviously, trade with caution as always. But anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you are not subscribed, please do, because I think like 80% of our listeners, or at least on YouTube, are not subscribed. And if you're a listener, go watch on YouTube, because I have stuff on the screen, man. I got stuff on the screen while I'm talking. So if you want to see that, go check it out. Anyways, thanks so much for listening. Airdrop video coming out this week. You won't want to miss it. It's literally free money. I mean, who does not like free thousands of dollars? So that's coming this week. Thanks so much, guys. I will see you next time.